Welcome, fellas, to the Too Much Game podcast, episode 7. Why it is important to leave the nest. You got to leave the nest. We're going to break that down. Heavy. But first, I need you guys to like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way we can get this good player-ish fresh off the press. You can get this good game fresh off the press. If you're watching on Apple, if you're listening on Spotify, make sure you guys share this. Give a rate this 5 stars and drop a comment and review, and let's get to this game. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, blessed day, and I wish you guys much peace and prosperity. Now, real quick before I get into it, the Complete Attraction System is available right now. Get it while it's still affordable. I haven't brought the price up on it yet, but I'm going to soon. I know I keep saying that, but if you know you've been following me, you know that's what I do. I raise my prices. But whenever I feel whatever, I raise them. So get it right now while it's affordable. We cover attraction, internal attraction, physical attraction, personality attraction, step-by-step execution steps to where, you can develop different things that make your personality more attractive to women. And opportunity, charm, conviction, mouthpiece, confidence. I teach you step by step how to develop those traits. And we also go over physical attraction. And then with the Complete Attraction System, you get the text. It's a 2-hour live demonstration on texting. Very, that's the fan favorite. Very valuable. Jump on that. I teach you how to open. We go into opens, when to flirt, how to flirt, the whole nine. And also I got the Conversation Starters playbook. Give you some conversation starters. This weekend, I'm going to expand it. I'm going to add more conversation starters, and I'm going to categorize it by boyfriend, relationship type questions, and casual fling type questions. So I'm going to categorize everything this weekend. So I'm going to expand it and categorize it, because I had some of my guys, they was asking the wrong questions. They was the right questions, but in the wrong situation. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to update it. So if you already have it, you'll be able to get that upgrade for free. Also, guys, if you need help, more help than what a program or course can provide, make sure you guys hit me up. Oh, the link in the description and the link in the show notes for the Complete Attraction System. It's the second link. But if you need coaching, one-on-one coaching, 8-week coaching, I hold your hand, create your customized strategy tailored straight to you and your game, so you're not out here being fake. You're not out here being something that you like. I teach you how to be attractive in your own way. I teach you how to text, say things your way, text, escalate, date logistics, how to get the sex, the whole nine. And I walk you and hold your hand for 8 weeks to develop the skills so you can get the sex that you want, or you can get the girlfriend that you want. And if you're not at your goal in 8 weeks, within 8 weeks, I will work with you at no additional cost until you hit your goal. So you can't beat that. Make sure you guys click the link. That's the first link in the description. Hop on a free call with my team and let's get it in. Now, before we start, real quick, because we finna get into the game, but this some game in itself. Before we start, I gotta address the goofies and the slow people. I'm gonna try not to curse because it's too early in the episode, so I'm gonna try not to curse. I gotta address the goofy and the slow and the stupid people. This is a podcast. It's a show. It's not a standard YouTube video. Okay. If you hear me in the beginning say the Too Much Game podcast, the Too Much Game show. If you're listening to the podcast on Apple or Spotify, if you're listening to the podcast on YouTube, you hear me say this in the beginning. So in a podcast, there's a bunch of different things that we talk about. There's a bunch of different topics. There's a bunch of different things that I might not say that may not pertain to what's necessarily in the title. That's how a podcast works. So when you leave stupid comments like, oh, get to the point, you're talking for 8 minutes, get to the point, get to the important stuff. Everything that I'm saying is important. When I'm promoting my products and services, because I got to make a living in order to be up and get up here and do this. If I don't make a living, if I don't monetize what I'm doing, I can't do this for my health because I got bills and children to feed. So when I'm running basically ads for my own programs, podcasts and shows, they have ads, they have different topics, they have the host's opinions, they have setups, they have context, background. That's what comes with a podcast or a show. This is not a standard YouTube video. I would hope that when you read the title of the thumbnail and you read the title of the video, you see Too Much Game episode, as in show, podcast. I would hope that you were intelligent enough to understand that. So everything that I'm saying from the start to the end of this motherfucker is the point. It's what I want to say, and it's important to my audience. Everything, even if it's not necessarily what's in the title. If what's in the title starts at 10 minutes, if your TikTok brain can't sit for 10 minutes and sit down somewhere and relax and listen to a whole, it says an hour. Do you see it's an hour and a half? If your TikTok brain can't handle it, you're not my crowd. We don't over here, the Players Club, my guys, we not TikTok brain. We can sit, we can sit down. We have discipline. We can sit down and edify ourselves and be still for an hour to soak up game. If you can't do that, you don't belong over here. You're not even my type of guy. So if you leave a comment like that, just know I'm going to block you. I don't mind discourse. I don't mind people disagreeing with me, but if you leave unintelligent comments, if you leave dumb comments, if you leave trolly comments, if you leave, video starts at 12, I'm blocking you from ever commenting. Everything that I say on this video is important, whether you think it's important or not. You don't run my shit. I do. You understand what I'm saying? I decide what's important. But anyway, with that being said, just be more intelligent than what y'all being, because I've been seeing that a lot on these videos. Yeah, I know y'all want to know how to get girls and da-da-da. You want me to hurry up and get to the point. Sit your ass down and relax. When you come in somebody's house, sit your ass down and relax. You don't control me. And if you don't like it, start your own fucking podcast and do it the way that you want to do it, or go to somebody else shit who serve you and treat you like and jump to your tune and your demands. But this ain't the place for a homeboy. But I said all that to say, be more intelligent than that. Don't be no goofy. Don't be stupid. You're listening to a podcast, man. Now that that's out the way, let's get into it, man. We're going to talk about leaving the nest as a man and why it's important to leave the nest. And the nest is basically the home or the comfort that you grew up in, your mother's house, or if you grew up with your grandmother, or whoever raised you, the adult that raised you and reared you, that nest, that safety nest is important that you leave that nest. And it's important that you leave it as soon as possible once you become an adult. Now, why am I talking about this? And I have a different perspective than most people because I coach men for a living. I run a coaching community where I live coach men every single week. There's a group of men we coach. I coach every single week, and I've been doing this for years. I've been a one-on-one coach for years. And so I see things that most people don't, and I pay attention to things that most people can't because I have to, because it makes me good at my job when I can see these type of things. And I'm just exposed to more of these things. Not that most guys don't know, but I'm just exposed to more of what's going on and the nuance of things. And over the years, especially recently, I've been noticing a big gap and a big difference from the men who live at home with their parents and the men who leave the nest early and they develop themselves as men. I get some of my guys that I have to coach around them being at home, or living at home. They come to me for coaching and they want to get laid, they want to do whatever, they want to get their skills up, and they live at home, and it destroys their confidence. But in dealing with men like that, they have certain issues that men who leave the nest don't have as far as character development. And we're going to get more into it. We're going to get more into that, as the episode progresses. But I see firsthand how that not leaving the nest stunts the growth of men. And if it's nothing that you take away from me, there's a huge difference. If it's one thing that I've seen that I could say that for facts out of my career doing this, that I can say for 100% fact that I would say that there's a big difference, a huge difference from men who leave the nest and men who don't. And I got guys well into their 30s and their 40s that leave the nest, that don't leave the nest and they still live at home with their parents, But there's a huge difference. And today, I just don't understand, me personally, the era I come from, or maybe it was just the environment that I come from, but I know for sure the era that I come from, we didn't want to be up under our parents. We wanted freedom. We wanted to do what we wanted to do, how we wanted to do it. We didn't want to have to worry about if we wanted to sleep in, whatever the case may be. And I come from a decent, my mom. I love my mother. Like I don't regret my childhood. I love my childhood, you know. So I don't come from one of them homes to where it's like, oh, I gotta hurry up and leave out of here. Like it's not that, but me just growing into as a teenager and growing up into become a young man, like I wanted my own shit. Like I wanted to be on my own. I didn't want to live under nobody else's, be submissive to nobody else's rules, or be subject to, the rules of somebody else's, or be under somebody else's authority because I live with them. I didn't want that for myself. And so I left my mother's house. I was 17. I was 17 when I left my mother's house. I moved to Miami, moved to Carroll City in Miami. Yeah, I was 17, moved to Miami, attended the Job Corps program down there. And when I moved back here, I was 18. So about a year later, I moved back to Tampa, where I'm from. I moved back to Tampa, and I had to go back to my mom's house. But I was there for about a week and a half. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Like I can't, because I felt like a man. I was young and goofy, but I was 18. I felt like I'm a man, and I want to be a man. And I didn't want to be under my mom's house. So me and my homies got together, me and my friends got together, and we rented a house. Right? We rented a house from my friend's mom. Had bought another house or something. They had two houses and it was going back to the other house. So we rented that house and we figured it out. There was no, I don't know how I'm gonna pay for this. I don't know how I'm going to, I don't know how I'm gonna come up with the bills. I don't even think I had a job at the time. I don't know how I'm gonna come up with the bills. I don't know. I didn't care about none of that. I jumped out of that, jumped off that diving board head first because I wanted to be a man that bad. I wanted my own freedom that bad. I can't, I'm not a beta male. Like I don't like to listen to other people. Even my mom and my dad, I don't like listening to other people and to people telling me what to do. I don't like that shit. Now, I'm smart enough to know that I have to. I'm respectful. I'm not defiant, but I just don't feel good up under other people. And so I left. I didn't have it figured. I ain't had no job, no nothing. And we made that work. Me and four of my homies, we made that work for about a year. I end up, after that, when, it was all messed up after that because we kind of ruined that situation. Of course, we young, wilding out, roommates. So we ruined that after about a year and a half. So I'm back ripping and running the streets, sleeping with over this chick house. And so I got my homeboy mom lived on this property right in front of a graveyard too. She lived on this property right in front of a graveyard. This house is the graveyard, and there's a street, and then the house, the street, and there's a graveyard right next to this. And spookiest experience of my life. But so I ain't had nowhere else to go. My boy mom was living on the property that some guy owned. I don't know this guy. Some guy owned this property. My boy mom was living on there. My homeboy mom was living on there. And there was this RV that had no power, no nothing. It's just like regular RV, not no super big one either. And we lived in that. We thugged it out in the summer for that. Day in, day out. To be honest, I don't even remember eating back in the days. Like we was doing whatever we had to do to survive, like thugging it. Hot at night. It was so hot in there. And when his mom would go to work, or when his mom would be cool about it, we'll take a long extension cord and we'll plug it up in her house. We'll plug the extension cord up in her house, and it'll get power to the RV. So sometimes we'll have a fan, we'll have a TV playing NBA Live. I think it was 2004 back that was out. NBA Live 2004 was out. Fight Night, the first Fight Night was out. Was playing that on the Xbox. We be playing that, hitting licks, just doing all type of wild shit. But we were surviving. I I got tired of that. I got tired of that, and I'm like, man, we got to get it together. We got to hustle up. The licks we hitting ain't really, we got to get it together. So we came up with a plan. We're gonna get us another apartment, but now we got to have jobs. We didn't have jobs, so one of my other friends, and I know this is a long journey, but I know y'all like to hear my stories. But one of my other friends, I went and hollered at his mom because his mom was cool. He was his mama's boy. His mom was cool. Rest in peace to her. I went and hollered at them. I'm like, look, I got a job. How much will it, can I rent a room? So I rented a room from them. But the mom, she used to get super drunk and she used to be tripping. And I just didn't want to be in that environment. So I went and hollered at my mom. I was 19 at the time. I went and hollered at my mom. I'm like, look, I got a job. The plan is to get an apartment. I got a job. The plan is to get a job. And in a couple months, we save up and to show the people that we have jobs. Because you can't, back in the days, still now, you had to, they didn't really do that 3 times the rent shit. But you had to have a job. So a verifiable job. So I got a job. I actually got 2 jobs working at Burger King. And these was the longest jobs I ever worked at. The longest job I ever had was like 7 months. I got a job at Burger King and I got a job at the valet parking cars at the casino. I messed that up real bad too. I was a fuck up back then. But so I got 2 jobs. So I tell my mom, okay, look, I got 2 jobs. I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna stay there for 2-3 months max and I'm out. Right. And that's what I did. I went to her crib. Cause I didn't want to be at that my boy's mom house. She'd be getting drunk, super drunk, tripping and stuff like that. I didn't want to be around that. And they going back and forth. That energy, that was too much for me. Went back to my mom's crib for a couple months. And from there, got the crib. Me and 2 of my other homies, we got the crib. Roommates again. I'm 19, 20 maybe. And we, trapped it out. I ended up effing off them jobs like F it. And I think it's the last. I had a job after that, a couple jobs after that, but in my 30s, really. Yeah, but I end up effing off them jobs, end up fucking off them jobs. Now we trapping, figuring it out, doing what we got to do. From there, we had trapped that spot out so bad. In the same apartments, I went and got my own apartment because I didn't want to sleep there no more. So like on the other side of the apartments, I got my own apartments. And then in the morning, I just wake up and walk over there or whatever and, make my money, then go back to my apartment or whatever. End up going to jail, and as I kept going to jail, when you bring police activity to apartments and you go to jail, especially for drugs and guns, they evict you. So I ended up getting evicted from there. It's 21. So now I got to go stay in the trap, not this trap. We got another trap somewhere. I'm not going to say where, and it's going down there. It's crazy over there. So I did that for maybe 4 or 5 months. But I'm in my mind, I'm like, because I'm grown now. I'm 20. I'm not going back to my mama's house. But from there, I ended up getting more trouble, and I ended up going to prison. From there, I said that to say I haven't been back to my mom's house since that. I was 19 when I left from my boy's mom's house that was to be drunk. 19. That was 2004. So I just told y'all my age. That was 2004. I haven't been back to my mom's house since. I haven't lived with my mom since. I ended up going to prison. I was like, I sleep outside before I go back to my mom's house because I couldn't do, as a man, I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. So I ended up going to prison. When I get out of prison, I end up moving in with my baby mom. And as you know, like I say, don't ever move in with no woman in her spot. It's different. I didn't like how that was going. I hustled up, get my money. So I'm like, okay, we ain't going to be at your spot. We're going to get some shit together with my name. I'm going to have some control over this because I don't like how you treat me here. So, that happened. And I basically say I throughout my journey of ups and downs, I never went back to my mom's house. From there, I got my own spot, and I just leveled up and leveled up and leveled up and leveled up. Fail, came up, fail. Lights cut off, don't know how I'm going to do, figured it out. And I've never been evicted. Only time I was evicted was the time when I got caught the drug charges at that apartment. I got evicted, but I've never been evicted for non-payment, never, been put out on the streets. My kids never had can we go stay here? Because my kids never, ever, ever. I figured it out as a man. And looking back on it, that has helped tremendously to my development as the masculine alpha man that I am, going through and figuring out my journey on my own without the help of my mother. I probably borrowed money from my mom. I can count on one hand how many times I borrowed from her, and I paid her back. I just can't. I'm not going to depend on my mom. There have been times my account was negative. My mom, you need anything? You need anything? No, I'm good. You know. Now, there was a couple times stuff got a little thick. I'm like, hey, look, boom, I need this. I pay you back next week, whatever. That was a few times. But other than that, in my mind, I just knew I had to lead a nest in order to be a man. And I always wanted to be a man, not a male with nuts, but I wanted to be a grown man. And so I figured my stuff out. And I'm not saying that, something could happen right now and I may be down on it, down on my luck again, but whatever. I figured it out up until this point. And that's what 20 something years of my journey of ups and downs and figuring it out. Damn, the lights do. Damn, the lights off. And I'm not saying it was like that the whole time, but those moments, I faced those moments. I've had women come see me with my lights off and sit with me in the crib with me with candles burning in the dark, just hanging out, talking and vibing. That's why you can't tell me, nobody can tell me you need all this stuff to attract women, because I seen differently. So, but I said all that to say, that's why I left the nest. And in teaching and coaching and seeing, I know that there's a big difference between me and a lot of men. And it's not that I was born better than a lot of people, but I put myself through the manhood ritual, of getting out in the world and figuring your shit out on your own. There's times where I'm like, I'm gonna just sleep outside. I'm not doing it. I'll be laying up with a chick. Now, this was in my early years, 20, 21, living with a chick in a chick house, get kicked out, 19 or whatever that little time period was, get kicked out. I go sleep outside or ride a bike all night or go hustle all night and just stay up. And I'm not going back to my mom's house though. So, I go there to eat on Sundays or whatever. Not every Sunday, but a few Sundays, every couple months, go see her. I talk to her all the time, but just go by. And to me, that house always felt like home to me. It always felt like home, but I knew that I had to create my own home as a man. I had to create my own home in a sanctuary, and I knew that young. So I'm seeing a lot of guys today, they don't have that same type of mentality, and it's costing them their manhood, and it's costing them their masculinity. And it's getting worse as you age. As you grow, as you age, it gets worse. The negative traits that you pick up from having your mama titty in your mouth, that stuff becomes repulsive to people, and you don't realize it. And I'm telling you, I see it in my work. There's guys who, they may not be good with women, but they got their own stuff. They got their own thing together, whatever. Those guys respond to the game and can implement the game way easier and way better than the guys who are more handsome or whatever the case may be that live with their moms. They be like almost like children mentally. They just don't develop. So, but yeah, that hardship, that shaped who I was as a man. And I thank God throughout all the hardships and bullshit I went through and the adversity and the ups and downs and the peaks and valleys. I thank God that I went through that. And I'm glad at my decision for leaving the nest early. I wasn't no excuse to, I got to have money saved up. Fuck that. I figured that shit out. And I did. I figured out. But listen, I help men just like you get real tangible results in dating by turning attraction into sex or a real relationship, by correcting the exact moments where most men fold, hesitate, or lose control. Click the link in the description, order bio right now, and hop on a call with my team, and let's see if you're a good fit. And if you are, let's get to work. I want to get into how hardship helps you as a man. Let's get into it. A lot of men are afraid of hardship. A lot of men are terrified of struggle. A lot of men are terrified of failing. That's why they don't leave the nest. They're scared of the hardship. They're scared of failing. They're scared of not being able to pay a bill, responsibility, the whole nine. Terrified of it. But that hardship is the ritual. The tribals, in the little tribes, they do the rituals for boys to become men. In this society, that's the ritual for a boy to become a man. You have to push him outside of the nest, and he have to fly, just like the birds do. When the babies get a certain age, and they grow to a certain age, the mama push them off. Figure it out. And they grow to become strong birds, strong falcons, strong eagles, or whatever the case may be. Flying high, doing their own thing. But a lot of y'all are terrified of hardship. You terrified of the world, and it's costing you. Hardship, struggle helps you as a man. It builds that tough character. Problem solving. One of the biggest benefits is problem solving under pressure. And as a man, you have to learn how to problem solve. As a man, you have to learn how to problem solve, not only in your life, but in business, on your job, in your relationships. If you have children, you have to learn how to problem solve, especially under pressure, because life is a big pressure cooker. And I know y'all scared of that, but it makes you a better person. It makes you a more attractive person. That's why some of y'all listen to me. That's why some of y'all hang on to everything that I say. And I'm not saying that to boost my own head up, but that's why some of you guys respect me. Some of these same guys have asked me in the coaching calls, man, how do I have more, I remember one of them asked me this, a couple of them, but in particular, the last time, one of the guys that asked me this was a guy that lived at home with his mama. He asked me, well, how do I be more confident and assertive and swift like you are? How do I have that energy like you have? I was like, you got to do what I did. You got to do what I did. You can't just wake up like this. You don't just wake up and talk like this and talk this shit. I'm able to sit up here every week. I could do a live stream every week. I could do it every day if I had the energy. Do a live stream, not even the energy, the capacity, because I have the energy. How many episodes I got just sitting breaking down the game? I'm sitting here in my room right now just talking about the game. That's lived experiences. This don't come from no book. The Savor Bro Show, Too Much Game, all the live streams, all the courses, the programs, me being able to help thousands. That's lived experience. Not nobody teaching me shit. Lived experience. Problem solving. Anyway, I'm ranting again, rambling, but going back to problem solving under pressure. They asked me how I'm able to do that. But problem solving under pressure, figuring things out without a safety net, is the foundation of confidence. When you can figure things out, when you can figure your life out without depending on your mama, without depending on your daddy, without depending on your grandma or your family, when you can figure it out as a man, when you have an issue and you fix it as a man, that is the foundation of confidence as a man. I figured it out. I saved myself. I didn't call my mama. Now, again, there was a couple times where I was like, I ain't got no other option. Either call my mama or go take something from somebody. Go kick somebody door in. So, there are a couple times I had to do that, but, other times I figured it out. And if I didn't figure it out, I understood that I'm here because of the sum of my decisions, and I'm going to sit in the dark with the candles on with no AC because I put myself here. I wasn't going to, my mama want to walk around naked and, make love to her husband. I just hate even saying that out loud. Make love to her husband, and she don't want me, her grown ass son, in the house because of my bad decisions and me not being able to figure my shit out and peeing on her life. She did her job and raised me. She want to be free now, so I'm gonna let her be free. I'm gonna sit with my shit myself, and me sitting with my consequences that I made because I was spending too much money in the club and I wasn't saving my money. I was buying shoes and being irresponsible with my money and thinking that the work gonna keep coming and the plug ain't got no work, and now I'm sitting in the drought, so now I can't figure it out. I should have been saving my money when the shit was coming in. I had to learn that, and I didn't want to fall back on my mama, because if I would have fell back on my mama, I would have never learned that lesson. I wouldn't have learned the lesson of, when you doing good in life, it's lessons I take to the day. When the gravy train is going, run it up and stack it up because the rain is coming. I learned that by sitting in the dark, in the heat, in the Florida summer, with a candle, I learned the rain is gonna come. Yeah, the plug got to work and the shit snowing and it's flowing and everything all good. Go hard and stack it up because the drought is coming. I learned that then. Had I went back to my mama's house, I wouldn't have learned that lesson. I figured out that I have to be financially responsible and this and that and pay my bills on time and good credit. I figured that out because I had to go through that shit. Had I had my mama and going back to live with my mama and all that shit, depending on my mama, I wouldn't have learned these lessons. I wouldn't have been able to solve those problems and have the confidence as a man, the confidence as a competent man. You know, that makes you competent at life. These guys I see, man, no competence, like it's crazy, man. You have to see it. It's crazy. It's a huge difference. No competence. They can't, no critical thinking, none of that shit. Ask basic questions like, you know, if I tell one of my guys, this is an example. If I tell one of my guys, I tell a guy, hey, coffee isn't, this is a real world example, by the way. I had to tell two different people this. Coffee nowadays has a bad stigma. It's cool, it's low pressure. We do low pressure dates. That way you can see if a woman likes you. You don't have to go all out, whatever. Coffee used to be cool, but due to the internet and the stigma of coffee, it has a bad stigma to women because influencers teach other girls and women that when a guy does that, he trying to play you and get something low. He trying to be low effort. He not. So it has the same stigma that Applebee's got because Applebee's used to be the spot. Red Lobster used to be the spot. You took a girl to Applebee's back in 2004, 2005, 2006 or whatever. Shit, on up until 2015. You took a chick to Applebee's. She was like, we in there. Then it got to a point to where you took a woman to Applebee's because of the internet and the influence. They looked at you like you was crazy. Same with cheesesteak. You took a chick to cheesesteak back in the day. That was for show ass. But, you know, with influence, these things become frowned upon socially because of other women, right? Women trying to impress other women and women thinking that you trying to, whatever the case may be. But anyway, I was telling these guys that, you know, it's cool, the low pressure thing, the low pressure dates and, you know, not necessarily effort, but low pressure. Coffee used to be cool, but now it turns a bunch of people off. I told this to the guy who lives alone. And you know what he said? Well, maybe I can do this instead. When I tell that to a guy who lives with his mom, you know what he asked me? A grown man. Well, what are some other things that I can do? It's little stuff like that. And for my guys that live at home who haven't left the nest, you do little stuff like that make other grown men, that's real men, look at you funny and they lose respect for you because you can't think for yourself. And I have to explain to my students this. Like, you may see it as small, but you asking somebody to think for you. And if I know that I could think for you, I know that I could control you and I could take advantage of you and I could exploit you. And if I know that I can do that to you, I'm going to lose respect for you. And if I was that type of person, I would do that to you. This exists. Everybody ain't like me. But just something like that small, you can tell the difference. It's a big difference. The guy who's on his own, he can think for himself. You know, problem solving. And again, problem solving under pressure, that gives you confidence. And women love confidence. And women love a guy who can problem solve and who can fix shit. When there's a problem, the dude, you know how many women are like, damn, that admire me because I could think quick and a situation may arise and I remedy the situation, just thinking about it real quick. Well, why don't you do this instead? Boom, 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 boom. And then it's a favorable outcome. Women find that sexy and people respect that. Now, this one gonna be a long one, so y'all might as well buckle up. Y'all might as well buckle up. But another way that hardship and struggle and that ritual that you got to go through as a man in this society Another way that helps you is authentic self-knowledge. You don't know who you are until you've been tested. You don't know who you are until you've been tested. Most men don't meet themselves until they alone, broke, and lost, and you have to figure your way out. You got to figure your way back. That's when you meet yourself. I've been in that spot plenty of times. That's when you meet yourself. That's when you see, okay, I am smart. I am intelligent. I am courageous. I can figure shit out. I ain't know I had that in me. I am resilient. I was scared. Fear is in me, but I can overcome it. I do dumb shit. I am irresponsible. That's when you meet yourself. And in order to fix yourself and improve yourself, you have to know yourself. Y'all be hollering this self-improvement shit from your mammy house. Don't work like that. You can't self-improve from your mama house. You can't. When you think getting in the gym, you just, yes, be healthy. I'm not speaking against being healthy, but all you are is a goofy with muscles, man. And real niggas see it. Real men see it. I see it. Now, I can't be like that with my clients and my guys who spend money with me and, my guys who come to my community. But even then, I'm pretty sure some of them could say certain dudes I talk to a certain type of way because the way that they carry themselves, they don't command respect based on how they behave because they live with their mammies. They don't know no better. And I try to teach them, but they don't hear me. So they keep coming doing the goofy shit. You got to talk to them like they goofy. You know what I'm saying? But most men don't meet themselves until they alone, until they broke, they lost, and you got to figure your way back. That's when you meet yourself. And in order to improve, you got to know yourself. You have to know thyself. And who you are at 20 ain't going to be who you are at 25, but you need to know each version. When I was 20, 21, I met myself. I met him in prison. When I went to prison, I met myself. I got to know myself a little bit more. And as I got out, what I improved on, what I felt I needed to improve on, I came up with a plan. I got out and, did my thing. More hardship, you meet more of yourself. And it's just an ongoing process. Last year, one of the most difficult times of my life, I met myself. I met more of myself. And that helped me improve. Damn near had an ego death. That's why late 2004, 2005, what I was talking about, ego. Damn, I am egotistical. Damn, I do need to be more grounded in the way that I do because my ego is leading my decisions. But I had to be, it took hardship for me to get to that point. And I had to figure my way back. Here we are. New episode. Too much game. Here we are. YouTube videos popping all up. I had to figure my way back from that. I was still here. Don't get it twisted. Putting out content and working through, learning how to work through. That's another thing. Learning how to work while you wounded or learning how to work through a storm. That's something that I can't figure that out. I can't do that from my mama house. I couldn't relax, even with everything I was going through. 2004, late 2004 for the most part of 2025. And I meant 2024 for the most part of 2025. It was raining. It was storming. It was rough. I was wounded. I had to work through that shit. You understand? Now, the next way that hardship helps you as a man, helps you through that ritual, is earned identity. Earned identity. Shout out to Miles Cunningham over at Real Game No Theory. Lucario, K-Zag, Steve the Dean, 1950, them guys. Shout out to them. I love them guys. But Miles Cunningham, he has this thing. Your masculine identity. You got to know your masculine identity. And what I'm talking about is your identity. You get that identity, that manhood identity, that earned identity through your journey. You at your mama house, you ain't even in the game at your mama house. On your journey, going through that ritual as a man, going through your life and developing. That's how you get that earned identity. I'm such and such and such and such. There's a difference between a man who built his life and one who's had it provided. The guys who's had their life provided to them, who's still in the nest, they don't have an identity. They don't have a sense of self. They can't stand strong as a man. When you ask them who they are, they couldn't tell you. They could tell you their name, but they can't tell you who they are. And men need their identity. Men need an identity. Men need a masculine identity. Shout out to Miles again. You renting your identity from your parents. And it's even worse if your daddy ain't around. Sidebar. Throughout my life, I've had friends, associates, all that stuff. And one of my good friends, probably the most bitch ass nigga I ever knew in my life, but that's my friend. That's my homie. But he a bitch ass nigga. Don't nobody like him. Like if I bring him around another friend group or like niggas don't like him because he a bitch ass nigga. And as growing up, you just never understand why. This your dog, you rock with your homie, but he a bitch ass nigga. And if you my homie and you know me, you hearing this, you gonna laugh because you know exactly who I'm talking about. Bitch ass nigga. But in hindsight, I know why. Grew up with his mama. Always had his mama. Always lived with his mama. The whole night. Cool, fly, get money, all that shit. But he never left it. I don't know what he's doing now because I ain't talked to him in a long time. Certain people I don't associate myself with, and it's all love, but you just when you leave, it's like the Bible, when you leave a place, you don't look back. You turn into a pillar of salt. Certain places certain people but good friend of mine, all love, but right, bitch ass dude. I done had to rough him up a couple times. This bitch ass nigga, but I think he was one of the only ones that throughout his adulthood always depended on his mama. Always lived with his mama. Shit got rough. He ran to his mama. He grew up with his mama. Very nurturing, kind woman, but that's not good for a man developing into a man. You got to have an identity as a man. You have to have your own identity as a man, or you will not feel good about yourself as a man. You will not be confident in yourself as a man if you don't have your own identity. You'll be a follower. You say what other people say. You repeat what other people say. You don't critically think. You follow other people instead of doing your own thing because you don't got your own identity. You understand? Those are the hardships and the struggles that help you develop into a respectable, attractive man. Now we're going to get into the benefits of leaving the nest early. We just broke down some of the hardships, but I want to get into some of the benefits of leaving the nest, especially leaving the nest early. Now, first and foremost, it's extremely important as a man to have your own kingdom, to have your own sanctuary. There's nothing like having your own space where nobody can't tell you what to do. Nobody can't tell you what time to come in. You can have sex as loud as you want. You can play your music as loud as you want. You can smoke in your shit. You don't have to clean it up if you don't want to. As a man, that's so freeing on the mind and on the spirit, just to be a place where you can feel some sort or some sense of freedom. You gotta, as a man, it just feels better. I believe everybody wants to feel some sort of freedom at some point. And you can, of course, you got laws and rules, or if you live in an apartment, you can't bump your music loud, but just being in your own space, doing whatever you want to do, there's a sense of freedom in that I believe every man should experience. And I think every man should have it, but just having that freedom feels extremely good. It's nothing like having your own. It's nothing like ruling over your own kingdom in your own domain. Even if it's only 1,000 square feet, that 1,000 square feet is yours, and you do what you want to do in it. You can leave the toilet seat up. You ain't got to clean up in the morning. You ain't got to make your bed. You can get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and cook. You can go outside. You can invite who you want to invite over. You can invite a woman over. You can have a woman live with you if you want. You can have your buddy sleep on the couch. When you're living with somebody else, you got to follow their rules. It's not your sanctuary. You need your own sanctuary, and it feels good to have that. And it's also important that you have control and leadership over something. When you go out into the world, most guys don't own or control anything. They got a boss that they got to follow the rules for, or the job they got to follow the rules and handbooks and guidelines and show up on time and do work and listen to and follow and submit to. You got the laws. You got, when you out in the world, most men don't get to feel a sense of, having control or leadership over something. But when you got your own spot, you can satisfy that just with having your own spot, having control over yourself, having control over your sanctuary, and having leadership over your own home or your own space or your own kingdom. That's very important as a man, and it feels good to be able to do that. Another benefit of leaving the nest and leaving it early is identity. Like I was talking about earlier, you can't form identity under your parents, especially if your dad is in the house. You are in the shadows of your parents. You don't have your own identity. You're your dad's son. That's who you are. When you walk out of that house, you're your mama's son or your dad's son. You don't have an identity. You're up under them. They have the identity. You don't. And it's good, a good feeling to have your own identity as a man. Also, when you live under your parents' roof, their rules, their rhythm, their worldview becomes your default operating system. You don't get to develop your own perspective. You don't get to develop your own mind and your own critical thinking in the way that you do things and your own opinions. You're pretty much subjected to what they instilled in you. You see the world how they see the world. You don't have a good lens of the world. You're not qualified you're not qualified to have an opinion nowhere. Like, I'm going to be straight up. If you live with your mama, you ain't got an opinion. You could talk to me about some stuff, but you can't debate me on most stuff. Like, you can't, you don't even have an opinion. You don't even have the right, or you're not even qualified to disagree with me, especially on women or, manhood shit. You're not qualified. And that's how people going to treat you. When you leave, it forces you to write your own code as a man. You develop your own views and your own perspective as a man. Now, another benefit, and this is a great benefit, is you develop competency and self-efficacy. And that's basically the trust and belief in yourself. Paying your own bills, cooking your own food, navigating a lease, handling when your car break down or your tire or something go out or your toilet mess up or just little problems that come up. When you handle these things on your own and you deal with these things on your own, just navigating through life, you develop what we consider competency, as a functioning adult. And a lot of men just are basically incompetent, and they don't trust in themselves. They don't have self-efficacy. They don't trust or believe in themselves because they've never had to do anything for themselves, and that shows up in your character when you're dating. Like, that shows up in your esteem. That shows up in your game when you're dating. Like, each of those things, like I say, the paying your own bills, the cooking your own food and making sure you straight, making sure you, buying your own groceries, cleaning your own house, fixing the small things that happen. Each of these is a small identity deposit that compounds over time into a man who trusts himself. A lot of y'all don't even trust yourself to walk up to a woman. You don't trust yourself. You don't believe in yourself. It comes from being a man, handling your business, even the day-to-day business, getting up, making your bed, fixing you some breakfast, going to work, coming home, paying your bills. That's where that comes from. That's where that confidence, that self-belief, that self-esteem, it comes from little things like that. It compounds over time. Get out of your mammy house, man. Now, the next one is peace of mind of having your own shit as a man. And I'm gonna keep it real. This may offend people, but it is what it is. Like, I don't feel like if you don't have your own, that's a part of being a man. You're a male, but if you don't have your own shit, your own space, you don't have your own income, meaning a way to generate resources, income, way to generate resources, a way to get from point A to point B, and your own living quarters, you're not a man to me. I respect everybody as a human being. I never disrespect somebody who don't disrespect me, but I don't have the same level of respect for you as I do other men. Does that make sense? But I said all that to say, another rant. Peace, just a peace of mind of having your own space. It feels good when you just have your own space. It's peace. Nobody nagging you. No, your mama ain't telling you to get up and wash your dishes and telling you can't have no girls come over. It's just peace of mind. And peace of mind is valuable. And this is a big one. You develop stress tolerance. You develop a stress tolerance and resilience when you on your own. And a lot of this stuff that I'm saying this is not my opinion. This is backed up by data. Yeah, I'm dropping the game and spitting the game, but this is data. This is like studies show. All of this stuff that I'm saying, there's studies and data that go back years and years and years that verify what I'm saying. So I'm not just on here talking. Studies and data show that men who never experience financial pressure, social friction, or the anxiety of genuine uncertainty in their 20s often collapse under that same pressure in their 30s and 40s. When you don't feel that pressure in your 20s, when you don't feel what it's like to be at the bottom in your 20s or lose it all in your 20s or can't pay a bill in your 20s, you're going to collapse under that pressure. You're going to fold under that pressure in your 30s and 40s, because the thing is, when you're 30s and 40s, the stakes are way higher. You got more responsibility. You got more shit to lose. You got more shit to lose. You probably got a family now. You don't got much time left. The clock is ticking. You got way more to lose at 30 and 40. And if you can't handle the pressure, I done lost. You know how many times I done lost everything? That shit don't even mean nothing to me no more. Because I know if my brain works, and I could type, I could make me some money. If my brain, I could, knock on wood. If all I had was my brain and I could type, and even if I couldn't type, if I could speak into something and the computer type for me and I could speak into it, I'd make me some money. So a lot of the times, man, when people lose it all, a lot of men, when they lose it all, they drive themselves off of a bridge, literally. Or the first thing you do is rush back home to your mama, and you never be able to figure it out. You never build that resilience. You never build that stress tolerance. Stress tolerance and resilience is important in life, especially if you want to talk about being in a relationship and having a family. You need stress tolerance. You need resilience, because life, homie. Life happens. It rains. It rains a lot in life. But the difference is, those that figure it out, they could buy an umbrella when it rains. You run back to your mammy crib, your mama house every time it rains. You never grow. You never learn. You never build that stress tolerance and that resilience that's needed to move forward on your journey into developing yourself into a masculine man and thriving in this life. You need stress tolerance and you need resilience, because life happens. And this shit, it's always something. And I know you're scared of that because that's why you're at your mama house. But you gain more by building that up and overcoming that and facing that stress and tolerance, and that building that tolerance and developing that resilience. You gain more from that than the minor obstacles that give you the opportunity to develop that, if that makes sense. So another one is attractiveness. Again, studies show and continue to show that resource acquisition and independence is a top priority for a mature and decent woman. Shit, pretty much most women, especially after you get a certain age. Now, I ain't talking about no 19-year-old who don't care. They not good for a relationship anyway. But if you out here talk about you want to get a girlfriend, and most of my guys who come to me for coaching, they want their ultimate goal is to get something stable, get them a wife or a woman or whatever. Yeah, they want to play the field, but the ultimate goal is to ride off into the sunset with some woman. The older you get, the less tolerant women are of you not having your shit together. You don't having a stable income, and you're dependent on your mother. That becomes very unattractive after a certain age. A 21-year-old dude can get away with that. Now, I could be here all day talking about the consequences of staying in the nest as you grow as a male and not develop into a man. Just a grown male with your mom's titty in your mouth. And again, I know some of y'all going to feel a certain type of way. Y'all going to have all kinds of excuses, but it is what it is. The erosion of ambition. When you are in a safety net that kills your drive and it kills your ambition. And that's that's one of the biggest consequences in my opinion, because comfort is the enemy of drive. When your basic needs are handled, food, shelter, laundry, the urgency that fuels ambition disappears. This is why a lot of y'all stay stuck at your mother's crib, at your parents' house, at your daddy's house. You don't have the same drive. Trust me. I see it day in and day out. Coach so many men. Those type of guys who still in the nest, they don't have that same drive and ambition. They just don't. It's like one of the guys, he was doing something to where he's trying to be a promoter or whatever. And he was so worried that he couldn't get 25 people to show up. This guy that lived with his mom. So I'm like, how many people live in your city? Maybe 1 million people. And I'm like, you can't figure out how to get 25 people to show up at your thing, and it's 1 million people where you at. But he didn't have that same drive and that same click to be like, I got to figure this out. There's 1 million people where I'm at. I need to figure it out. He's sitting there stressing himself out, pushing his anxiety on me. And I don't let you push your anxiety on me about not being able to get 25 people to show up at his event that he's throwing. And I basically told him, bro, get the fuck out of my face and don't come back to me till you figure it out. And he figured it out. But I'm like, bro, you finna bother me about 25 people and you live in a city with 1 million people? But he didn't even have a drive or the wherewithal to even start to figure out how he can make that happen. Because that doesn't click for him because of he live at home with his mom. That it kills your drive. And you may not even know it or may not even see it. A lot of those guys, man, it's hard. Like one guy, he's like 26, I think. And he wants me to coach him so bad. This nigga live at his mama house, no real bills, no nothing, just freedom and time. And he made like $2,500 a month. And I'm like, what are you doing with if you make $2,500 a month and it ain't nothing, that's cool. I get it. Times are hard. However, if you want better and you in your mind you say you want better, you don't have to make $2,500 a month. You can go to school. You can go to trade school. You can have side gigs in this society and where we at in these times, man. It's so easy to make money. Like you could be a clipper for somebody, for an influencer, and make extra money just editing their videos, writing copy for people, watching people dogs. This whole gig economy, watching people dogs, going to shop for people, doing Instacart, doing Uber Eats. Or you can learn a skill. You don't even have to go to trade school. You can literally learn a skill on YouTube, but there's no drive. And they don't understand it. He don't even understand it. There's no drive. There's no even spark. Nothing sparks it until he hear it from me. Nothing sparks in his brain that says, I don't have no job. I don't have no kids. I don't have no bills. I don't have no responsibilities. I have nothing but time and my health and the opportunity to make shit happen. He don't even see it like that because all his basic needs are taken care of. I had I left my mama's house at 17, man. That fire been under my ass ever since. I gotta wake up and do this. I gotta make this happen. I got kids to feed. And it's easier now. While you don't have no responsibility, while you don't have no kids, you got room to fail. If ever I release a course, because when you release a course, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say I do because I'm going to do a new course. Let's say I release this course, right? When I release this course, I have to stop doing everything that I'm doing for 30 days and put all the promotion into this course, right? And launching this thing. So that means for 30 days, I ain't going to make no money. I don't make no money from my courses, nothing. All of it goes into getting people and nurturing them for this thing. If I don't hit that, my numbers, if that flops, that's going to hurt. But if you do the same thing and it flop, you don't lose nothing. I need that shit. I got bills to pay. I got real bills. Kids, all type of shit. You don't got no room and no excuse. And then y'all be like, oh, I'm trying to save money. Shut up. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm going to talk about the excuses in a second. Because I know some people going to be mad and in their feelings that I'm doing this. But I'm telling you, I'm doing it because I want you to be better. You need to lead. You shouldn't. Now, if your mama's sick or something, that's different. Outside of that, you shouldn't be at your mama's house after college. And I wouldn't want to be at my mama's house in college. My thing was when I'm 18, I'm up out of here. I left at 17. I want to be on my man on my own. But a lot of these dudes don't even have it don't even click with them that I could be making this much money. This nigga made $2,500 a month and can't figure out, I want to get the program, but I don't know what to do. What the fuck you mean you don't know what to do? You don't want to get the program, because if you did, you'll go get the program. King, I got to get 25 people to show up at this thing, man. I don't know what I'm going to do. The fuck you mean you don't know what you going to do? How many people live in your city? Like 1 million? Man, get the fuck off my phone, bro. The fuck? Excuse my language. But And I'm not expecting you to know money plays and know how to run up a bag. That ain't what I'm saying. But if nothing clicks in you to say, I don't have no baggage. And I have nothing but time. I only work 6 to 8 hours a day. I have nothing but time. I don't have no bills. I have all this room to fail. I could figure this out. Y'all niggas ain't doing nothing to figure it out but going home, sucking on your mama titty and jacking off and doing the same thing every day. I'm telling you, I'm saying this because I coach it. I've been doing this for 8 years. I see it. Y'all don't see it because y'all don't talk to men day in and day out. I do. So you might not feel my perspective of where I'm coming from, because you're not talking to men day in and day out, and you got to figure out how to help this grown ass male that live with his mama because he paid you. And you got to work around him basically being incompetent. And then you seeing other men who don't look as good as him, but you seeing how he could pick up on it and get the results, even though he may not have no experience with women ever. And he don't got confidence, but he's still a man. So you put the game in him and he get it like that. And again, hard times, everybody fall on hard times. Cool. And I ain't even talking about if you got roommates. At the very least, go get roommates. I don't care how old you is. Get out your mama's house and go get you some fucking roommates, if that's what you got to do. But comfort is the enemy of drive, period. Also, when you live and you stay in a nest, you have what's called arrested development. And again, Studies show this. Arrested development and arrested masculinity. Basically prolonged Peter Pan syndrome. Do you know what Peter Pan syndrome? The movie Peter Pan, Never Never Land, a boy who never grows up. An immature boy that never grows up. Never wants responsibility. Never know what it's like to have responsibility. That's called Peter Pan syndrome. I forgot the psychiatrist or the psychologist's name that coined that term in the 80s. Peter Pan syndrome. Especially if you live with your mother. Now, this is one of the biggest things that I see. All of these are horrible, but when you don't leave the nest, you have a dependence on women, and that makes you extremely unattractive. Every single one of these guys that live with their mother has an emotional dependence on women. Because when they date, they seek a mother. They seek a mother and not a partner in their relationships. They don't seek a woman or a partner or a companion. They're seeking a mother. So they transfer the emotional dependency from the parent to the woman, to the partner, which is the leading driver of codependency and unstable relationship dynamics. I see this shit over and over and over and over and over and over and over again with dudes who live at home with their mamas, emotionally dependent on women. Get the titty out your mouth, bro. You leave your mama house and then you have an emotional, you try to put your girl titty in your mouth, and it makes you unattractive because women don't want a Peter Pan boy with Peter Pan syndrome. Women want a real man, a competent man, a man who's resilient, a man who's confident, a man who can handle his business, a man who can think for himself, a man who can at least lead himself. You niggas don't even lead yourself because you at home with your mom. And I'm not talking about you fell on hard times for a little bit and you got to go stack your bread back up. I ain't even talking about that. But even that, you should try to figure it out because anything could happen. So I'm not, again, if you're in a hard spot, I'm not talking about that. But y'all know who I'm talking about. The ability to critically think for yourself. If I wanted to, if I was this type of person, I could have a cult of men that'll do whatever I say. Some of you niggas, I have you in a cult doing whatever I say, including drinking the Kool-Aid. You think that you think for yourself. You think you strong, but I see it. I'm just not that type of person. I don't want a bunch of niggas following me. I don't want the responsibility of leading grown men. I want to teach grown men how to be leaders and kings. I don't want niggas following me and leading a bunch of men. That ain't what I want to do. If I was that type of dude, if I was one of them narcissistic type of dudes, I have a cult of y'all. I know I can, because a lot of y'all don't think for yourself. And it's them dudes that live with their mamas. I have y'all on all type of crazy shit. That's the danger when you don't think for yourself. Other people see that and they exploit you. They exploit you for your time. They exploit you for your labor. They exploit you for your money. They exploit people and see it. I'm just the brave one that's brave enough to put y'all on game about how this world works. It's dog eat dog. In life, you carry the whip or you carry the bag, period. You know? But not being able to critically think is dangerous, especially not being able to critically think for yourself. But it's consequences, man. I can go on and on and on and on. Let me know if I want to do a part 2. And y'all probably don't want me to do a part 2 because this is probably too much for you to hear. And it's fine. You feel ashamed. You should feel ashamed, my guy. Your parents dedicated their lives, bring you into the world, bring you up, raise you. Let them have their life and freedom back. They earned it. They don't need your grown ass running. They don't need you in their house. You're a grown ass man. The shame you feel, you should feel it. You that's your voice telling you need to get up and be a fucking man. You will be all right. You gonna be all right. What excuses? Oh, well, I'm trying to save. Fuck that, bro. Figure that shit out. Get you some roommates, at the very least. Oh, well, I fell back on hard times. Cool. Get up out of there. But a lot of y'all use that excuse. You get out there and every time times get hard, you run back to your mama crib. Don't do that. Figure your shit out, bro. Without them. It'll make you stronger. It'll make you better. It'll make you more attractive. It'll give you that dog in you. That's why y'all weenies. Y'all don't got the dog in you. The dog in you come from being in the world and developing yourself. And you developing yourself by going through your authentic journey the way that you're supposed to as a man. Getting out here, going through stuff, figuring it out, overcoming, going to the next level. That's how you develop the dog in you. A lot of y'all are weenies. When I say weenies, this is what I mean. Weenies. So you should feel ashamed because your parents want freedom. Your mama want to walk around the house naked. Your daddy want to bring chicks over without it being awkward because your grown ass sitting in there with your tank tops and you ain't showered in 3 days. Your mama and daddy want to make love again like they used to before you was born and scream and holler and all this shit, but they can't because your overgrown ass in their crib. Your mama want to watch porn and do all type of shit and be free, you know? And if you got one of them mamas, because I've seen this too, if you have one of them mamas that has designated you as her man, she's destroying you. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. That's a whole nother episode. But if you got one of the mamas that's emotionally dependent on you and don't want you to leave and do anything to keep you there and designated you as her man, she is damaging you for sure, for sure. You mama's boy dudes, get up out of there, bro. And it's selfish of her and it's pretty narcissistic of her to sacrifice you for her feelings. There's a lot of mothers that do that. I got a couple friends who moms did that to them. And it sucks to see where they at as grown men, 40 plus, lost. I can't even hang around them. I'm talking about friends I grew up with. Can't even hang around them because they moms did that to them. If that's you, if you the type of guy who your mom wants you to be there, wants you to get because she can't be by herself emotionally or she's not responsible enough, but you don't have to sacrifice your life because your mother's irresponsible. Now, if your mother's sick, if your mother can't work and that's different. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about if your mother got sick, and you had to move back in to take care of her. I ain't talking about that. You exempt, so I don't want to see what if my mama's sick and all that. But because your mother's emotionally dependent or she's irresponsible, and so now she's depending on you to take care of her and you can't leave the nest because she makes sure you don't leave the nest, she's essentially sacrificing you as a human being for her feelings. That's crazy to me. But I ain't trying to have you get into no beef with your mama, but if you got one, you need to get away from that. That's that, man. I know, again, some of y'all probably don't want to hear it, but it is what it is. And I know this is not most of my audience, but I polled my audiences on, a bunch of different platforms. And half of my audience has not left the nest. Half. Everywhere. Polled them on YouTube, Instagram, email. Everywhere was 50%. Give or take. That hasn't left the nest. And that's enough. Yeah, you could say, oh, well, that ain't the whole audience. But to me, that's enough for me to do this episode. Put the women on the back burner for a little bit because I know this is too much game. But this too much game. This game. I know y'all want to learn how to get laid and the escalation and fuck all that. This important. So this is what we're going to talk about. On this episode, at least. But that's that on that, man. I'll see you guys next week. I'm thinking about bringing the live streams back too. Why not? If you want me to bring the live streams back as well, I'll use it for more like current events that revolve around like dating and the game and stuff. But y'all know I hate talking about people. I'm just not one of them type of people that just be talking about people. So they have to be, it have to make sense. But I guess you guys can send me stuff or tag me and stuff or whatever. Send it to my email or send stuff that I could react to as far as, celeb stuff or things that, we can learn from the game. And I break it down on live streams. And send it to me on Instagram, email it to me. Drop a comment and be like, oh, you heard about such and such situation? We'll do it like that. But yeah, that's been that, man. Complete Attraction System is available right now. You learn attraction through and out, physical attraction, internal attraction, personality, develop your personality to where you can become magnetic. You learn the texting game, break the texting down for 2 hours live. Well, it was a live demonstration, but I won't be live doing it. Basically a demonstration, going over text threads, when to flirt, what not to say, how to open. I got the best opener in the game. If you got that and you've been using my opener and my opener been getting you responses right now, put it in the chat. Most people don't make it to the end of the episode, but put it in the chat. I should have put this in the beginning. Put it in the chat right now. Don't put the opener. Just put if the opener gets you the results. It's cold. So, but anyway, that's the Complete Attraction System. And if you need one-on-one coaching, you need help getting to your goals, learning how to date, texting, communication, developing your style, learning how to escalate women and learning the moves, learning how to put it down in the bedroom, getting the confidence, learning how to cold approach. If you need me to help you do that one-on-one, I can help you do that. And I can get you there within 8 weeks. And if I don't get you there in 8 weeks, if you don't reach your goal, which the only reason you ain't gonna reach your goal is because of you. But if you don't reach your goal, I'll work with you at no additional cost until you do. And that's a promise. So click the link that's in the description. Complete Attraction System is the second link. One-on-one coaching is the first link. Hit that link, hop on a free call with my team, and let's get it in. But anyway, guys, that's my time for the night. I'll see you guys next week on the Too Much Game podcast. Like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell that way you can get this good game fresh off the press. Hype this video so we can spread game and not negativity. If you're listening on Spotify, give me a 5-star review. Give me 5 stars. Drop a comment. Share the game so we can spread game, not negativity. Excuse me. But anyway, guys, that's been my time. I want to wish you guys, make sure you having a good day, and I wish you guys much luck, peace, and prosperity. Have a good day. Have a good night. Whatever time you're seeing this, productive day at work. Get this money. Get these women. Get this game, or the game gonna get you. But anyway, guys, I'm just rambling now. That's been my time. I'm your gracious game advisor. Yours truly, King Dre. Till next time.